back with another Power 15 interview for our Home Builder Growth Summit Digital Vault of Content. I have been so enjoying getting to do all of these interviews. Of course, it's a lot of work getting the logistics and everybody lined up, but talking to each of the individuals has been fascinating. I've been learning a lot, and I hope you've been getting a lot out of listening to them. And today's interview is no exception. Today we have Ryan with us from Lifestyle Home Builders out of the Richmond, Virginia, Chesterfield area. I'm not sure I'm saying it right. Where are you, Ryan?
You nailed it. Yeah, the Richmond, Virginia area.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so Ryan and myself and Carrie Mulcrone, and of course, Kevin McNulty, the owner of Lifestyle Home Builders. We've been working as a team probably, at least a year now together, Ryan?
Yeah, so I came on, I'm the newest member of the team, but I came on back in February, so I've had the pleasure since then, but yeah, you've been working with them prior to that, getting us set up for success. So
Yeah, so I work on the marketing side. We do Lifestyle's website and SEO, blogging, Google ads, Facebook ads. And then Carrie and company, she works on the sales side of the business. And then Ryan, you were in sales on site, but then in the last few months moved into the online sales counselor role, right?
Correct, yep.
Yeah, and it's been a brilliant fit for you. I mean, you were great on site, but it's hard to find that person that's good for online sales counselor that has that kind of, I call it a unicorn. I don't know if you know you're a unicorn, but it's this blend of being able to really manage technology tools like a CRM, like email marketing, and also sell and have a great, fun personality that is appealing to leads as they come in.
Definitely, yeah. It's been a fun transition. So like I was saying, I joined in February, and 3 weeks later, the whole country shut down.
Yeah.
So it was,
surprise!
Okay, now by fire, what are we gonna do? Yeah.
Now you had been selling on site prior to that though, right? You had new home sales experience.
I have new home sales experience with a prior builder.
Yep.
And I came over to Lifestyle's team.
Perfect.
And that was the plan, was to jump into that, help out, because we were growing.
Yeah.
And we just needed that help. But when things shut down, the training, it just wasn't able to be what we were looking for. And it was kind of all hands on deck, do what you can to keep us important, keep us relevant. That's no exception. Right. So I started doing more online stuff, trying to keep up with video marketing. And eventually that role transitioned into, we could use some extra support in the online sales side. So that's kind of how I just kind of gravitated into this new role. And it's been fun. It's been a new challenge for me. It is different than on-site sales. So there are some new things that I've had to learn, but it's been fun along the way.
Yeah, and what we uncovered, and I think Kevin's pretty open about sharing this, is that the sales team was fairly strong, marketing was strong, but the online sales, particularly the appointment setting, from when the lead came in to cultivating, nurturing, following up multiple times, getting that lead to appointment out to the on-site team, it wasn't as strong as it needed to be. And it kind of hurt sales for a couple months there. And then once some roles were shifted around and you came into that, I mean, you are an appointment setting machine. And this is one of the reasons I wanted to interview you for this series, was because one, you're a person that jumped into whatever you got asked to do. You did it with a great attitude. You weren't like, no, I was hired for this, and this is the only thing I can do. And then two, you really have taken it as your own and you've innovated. Like you send Alan and I, like your home builder quiz. Tell us a little bit about the home builder quiz that you built.
Sure. So this quiz, it comes from, if you haven't seen these kinds of quizzes, they're popular on Facebook. You just take a few answers, and then at the end you find out what puppy you are or which superhero you're meant to be.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, I knew I have a system where I ask certain questions and then I'm able to diagnose which home best suits that person's need.
Yeah.
So I just developed it into a quiz. I have my 7 questions I ask. I added a couple more to the quiz. I'd studied up on what colors are certain personality types to try and hone in on things that I can't tangibly touch with my questions, like are they entertaining or just how much do they want to entertain, things like that. So I developed this quiz. We put it out on the Facebook, and it instantly was just a huge success. Our average page visits on that site or using that quiz was like 3 times higher than a lot of our other
Yes.
paid for marketing and things like that. It was just incredible seeing the results. And then from that, we can then get the leads. So not only is it a good tool to get to our website, but we're also capturing data, capturing leads. And then to top it off, we have now created automation behind that. So to take better advantage of my time so I can keep doing more appointment setting or developing more or tools for our team, I've created an automation with it. So now those leads automatically go to both an Excel file, but also to our marketing campaign program. We use BombBomb, but you'd be able to use any of them, MailChimp, whatever you want. But it automates that. So now I can track both how much traffic we're getting from it, but I can also send out directly my emails without ever having to go in and touch these emails. So it's been really great.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to talk to you, because you took the initiative on all of that and figured out how to make it happen. And now the quiz also, it lives on your social media, but it also lives on the website that we support and maintain. And I'm able to see in Google Analytics every month, you know, when we go over our numbers together as a team, there are the numbers on the quiz. And the quiz has been out a few months now, and it still has great page views on the website, time on site. I mean, it does well. People like themselves a quiz.
Yeah. I've even seen it with people calling me. They will call up and say, you know what, I got this floor plan. Yeah. And I asked them some questions, and it's like, yeah, that is a good floor plan for you. Let's talk further how we can show you that. So
yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, so if you're listening, I mean, you may not be as technically savvy as Ryan is. It's not that every one of you needs to run out and create an online quiz, but the question is, what could you innovate? What could you be a leader on your team and just say, here, I tried this. I came up with something, and take it to your sales manager, take it to your marketing manager, take it to your builder and say, hey, this is something cool I saw, and I thought we could do something like it, and here's my idea. A lot of times in sales and marketing, we sit back and we say, well, give me the money, or I need this amount of budget, and then I could make it happen and whatever. And what our bosses really need from us is for us to take the lead.
Definitely. Yeah. And not to go outside your comfort zone, but yeah, I've always
a little bit, right?
Let me go and try it, and you have to pull me back in if I'm gone too far. So, I mean, don't necessarily leave what your wheelhouse is, but definitely try and push the boundaries of what you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
And see what happens. There's no harm in trying it just to see where it goes. And this one turned out to be great. I've had other things that didn't. So
yeah, I mean, you never know, but I applaud your innovation.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. So yeah, one of the questions on my list that I gave everybody a list of questions to consider in advance to make it a little easier. And one of the ones you wanted to talk about was time savers. What do you have a couple of time saver things or recommendations for people?
Sure. Yeah. So we kind of already touched into it with the automation. Yeah. But before I get to that whole, I'm going to automate something, I first always ask why. Why are we doing this process? Why are we using software? Why are we having this as our protocols?
Yeah.
Once I understand the why, then I can start to figure out how can I mold this? How can I enhance it, make it better for either myself, our team, our company, et cetera. And so with that said, automation has played a huge role into it. If there's a way to speed up our learning capability, so on the personal or professional side, I like a lot of audiobooks.
Me too.
And I don't know if you do this, but you can also enhance how fast you're listening to them. So
Yes.
I do it at 2.3 times the speed. Uh, and so you can gain a lot more material in a shorter amount of time. So any way that I can try and optimize my time, I do try and figure out ways that I can do that. Not always am I doing that in my life, but if it feels beneficial and it works, I definitely will try and make that happen. But I always start with figuring out the why behind a decision and then go forward. You don't want your
Yeah.
ladder against the wrong wall, get to the top and realize, oh, I should have been over there.
Yeah.
So that's the point behind asking why and then go forward from there.
And it's really true just in your career in general, that metaphor of ladder against the wrong wall. I mean, there are a lot of people who climbed, strove, worked, and got to the top of whatever and found it not very fulfilling, or not all they thought it was going to be, or they paid a heavy price personally for their professional choices. Right. So that why question, and it's funny that you said that, it's come up multiple times in these interviews, which must make it universally true. Yeah. Simon Sinek is onto something here, right? That this
Yes.
that this is whether it's a marketing decision, a personal decision, career growth, whatever it is, that why is really, really critical. All right, so another one that I think we were going to talk about is this idea of the free throw, right? So when I was researching the number 15, when I came up with the idea that I wanted to invite the Power 15 for a series of interviews, I found out that the free throw line on a basketball court is exactly 15 feet from the hoop. And I also learned that the average basketball player's percentage of free throws that they hit is like 50-60%. It's not good. The superstars that have really honed their skills at the art of the free throw can be up more like 80-90%. Okay. Which is interesting because a free throw is unguarded. You're standing still, you get to take your time, you get to check your stance, but yet a lot of players miss half of them. So, right? It kind of makes you think, like, what is happening? It's the pressure of the moment. It's a lot of things. Sure. So that made me think, in home building, what's our equivalent of the free throw, that kind of basic, easy shot that we should be hitting consistently, but we don't hit. We fail to hit. And of course, not lifestyle home builders. I know you all do everything flawlessly there. Yeah. This was definitely a difficult question to think through. Right. So nothing specific to you guys, but just in general, what would you say as an industry are we missing that we should be hitting?
You know, I was thinking a lot into this, and personally, I'm more of a tech person, so I feel like it's our adoption to technology. There is so much out there to make us better, and right now there's more than ever to help us during this environment that it's probably overwhelming, because home building just in general has always lagged as far as being technology proficient and aggressive. So I feel like that's where we're missing a lot of it. We're missing opportunities to collect social media, to fine tune our processes and cut down on our costs, just because we're not taking those technological advances that are available to us.
Yeah, as a digital marketer, I 100% agree. I mean, there are a lot of you out there, and this is not a condemnation, it's just an observation, that were caught really flat-footed with the shift to virtual visits, and had never done a bomb video email. And that really shouldn't be the case in 2020 and moving on. So again, I'm not criticizing you if you're listening, but I do think you have a little bit of catch up to do. And certainly the COVID economy has pushed us there even faster, which is great. But I think we all should ask ourselves, what else where else are we a little bit behind on the technology curve that let's not make have it be a pandemic to force us into it next time?
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. So my last question for you is one I'm asking everybody, and that is, what's your biggest challenge in the current environment? Now, we know we're recording this in late September for it to come out in November, and by then, who knows what'll happen? We'll have a new president or not. The world is on fire for sure. And so, as we're doing these interviews, we're very cognizant that things are changing rather rapidly, but still, a challenge is a challenge. So what are you facing these days?
So for this, I'd like to focus more on to my role. Just I know what I'm seeing. So in the online sales position, we know that the market, we've seen a supply decrease, and now realtors are reaching out to the builders. I have seen a drastic increase of how many realtors I'm receiving phone calls from. And while this is great, and we do want to build those relationships, it also poses a new challenge because I haven't been trained. I haven't worked out my process to how to exactly interact with them to make sure I'm setting still good appointments and getting them the information they need. Not always does a realtor come prepared with the questions and the knowledge to make sure that their client is going to the correct community, getting into the right home. Or oftentimes I'm also receiving more like they're doing just a blanket phone calls across a bunch of different builders, and they're just wanting basic information. Give me pricing, give me homes, give me site plans.
So you're like, that's called
trying to dive in deeper there.
Yeah. But it is interesting too. You mentioned to me when we were doing the pre-interview that, and it's not specific to realtors, but people don't read our websites as closely as we would hope they would. So a lot of times they're calling for kind of obvious information that's right there, but
to me it's obvious. I know where it is, so I get why it happens. They have to then come to me, and then they have to trust me because now this is their livelihood.
Yes.
They have to trust that I'm going to do what I can to make sure that they still can get their payment, their client gets happy.
Yes.
It's just a new relationship that has to form quickly. And because everything is phone call, text, like there's no personal interaction there, face-to-face, I should say, that's a challenge to create that instant trust.
Yeah. I think if I can give you a bit of advice, and certainly our other listeners are, they can join in this when we get to the day of our event, but I kind of feel like realtors want you to know that you're going to like keep an eye out for them. So if you can help get them to help you know kind of what you're looking for, or what type of buyer they have, and what is that person looking for. And then in communicating with them, well, I will keep an eye out for you. That if something of that size or that location or that style or price range pops up, that we're going to start construction on it as an inventory home, or we're going to open up a new phase in such and such neighborhood, I will mark you down on my list to give you a heads up call. Like, to me, that's what they want the most, is that like that preview, first chance at something.
You make a good point. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, from their point of view, it's like, how do I want to know, I want to be the first to know, I want to be the exclusive, because if I'm that, then it gives me value as their agent, because it's not something that can just be gleaned off a basic internet search. So it's like, I think the more you can convey to them, hey, I'll be your eyes and ears. You just let me know what kind of product or type or size or location that you think you might be needing, or that you're shopping for on behalf of a client. And if that pops up, you will be my first text message. You'll be my first phone call. And I don't know, you might build yourself up quite a little following of agents.
Yes, that's what I'm seeing is now that while this is a challenge now, it's definitely an opportunity, because
that's
that relationship, if we create that, like that's just going to go out and blow up later on. It's going to be huge.
That's right. And I've seen
a great opportunity.
Yeah, it is. I've seen many OSCs develop quite a following of real estate agents that look, all they got to do is make one phone call, and that person has an overall 30,000-foot view of all neighborhoods, all available homes, everything, instead of trying to reach out to every side agent and find out what's available, what's not available. You become kind of indispensable, really. But I think more than anything, what they want is that early access. Like, you'll be my first call. So I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe try out some of that wording, develop like a little list of those folks, that you could do the bomb stuff to, and see.
Sure, absolutely.
I mean, you have to have something to sell them for this to work, which is
Yeah.
which is what the huge challenge is right now. But that's also why they're calling you.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So all you got to do is prove yourself a couple of times, even if what you call them with isn't quite exactly what they were looking for. If it's close, they're going to appreciate that you thought of them. And then you're going to build that and build it and build it. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll let you know at next year's conference how it went. And
right? I know. Oh my God, I'll have to be crazy enough to do this again.
I
We'll
think
see
this
how
was
it
great.
goes the first time. But
Gotta
anyway,
start
well,
somewhere.
Ryan, right? Well, thank you so much for participating. Like I said, it's a pleasure to work with you in your role there. We love Lifestyle Home Builders. We appreciate Kevin and team a lot. And, he lets us do our jobs. I imagine that's how he does with you too.
Yep.
And we're all more successful because he lets the experts do their thing. And but isn't afraid to jump in and have a dialogue or ask us questions, hold us accountable, but trust the expertise. And it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, it's a great team to work for, and we're happy that we have you as our backbone there to help us out when we need it.
Yeah,
So thank you.
cool. All right. Well, there you have it, everybody. Ryan Kay's Lifestyle Home Builders, one of our Power 15, and certainly a power player for sure. We'll be back next time with another great interview. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye.